Hello, everybody, and welcome in to Faction Wars, episode 12. This is the very best New World podcast out there,
It's
hosted
true.
by a bunch of schlubs that you've never heard of.
Accurate.
This week, the dynamic duo is back. You've got
Hello.
myself, Taylar Allen, and our long-missed second chair, Stephen Fontana. Steve, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real well. We're recording this on about 30 minutes before Pokemon Legends Arceus comes out. Very excited about that. It's been keeping my adrenaline going nonstop. But that's not what we're here to talk about, you know? Like that you could check out Crossplay Podcast if you want our thoughts on that game next week. But man, there's been some stuff happening in New World.
Been some stuff, man. You know the joke that kind of started around the November update and then has just continued to hold true, where every time Amazon Game Studios updates the game, they break something new.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I am very happy to deliver the news that tradition is not going away anytime soon.
Yeah. No, they're firmly parking themselves in that spot in the lot. Yeah, it's pretty much par for the course with games as service, not necessarily par of the course for MMOs. So I just feel like they're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place as to the true identity and like function of the game as a whole. And so like they're updating small things, but then inadvertently breaking other things. But at least from what I can tell, and maybe you'll have more information for me. From what I could tell, they're not the kinds of things that like completely break economy or whatever. This is more like annoyances. But you could definitely speak more on that.
There's one big bug that we'll touch on later in the show that I think could frustrate and drive away a lot of players if they don't get it turned around quickly. But all of the other stuff was little annoyances. We'll get into that in a minute, though. I will say before we jump in, excellent choice picking up Pokemon Legends Arceus for our Fantasy Critic League.
Yeah. So far, so good.
That's a good pick. We just did our draft this last week.
We did.
I feel like my team's pretty strong, but Steve had the number 1 overall pick, and he took Pokemon. So it's gonna do very well, I think.
Hopefully, it keeps going up.
Very well. Yeah. All right. Let us jump in, Steve. What have you been doing in New World? I know you haven't had a ton of time to play lately. You've been pretty busy. What have you been doing?
I've been a good soldier. I have been trying to upkeep our town. Like that's been my main goal, since I know a lot of people do a lot of different things and higher level things and, you know, more important things. I sat there and I did as many of those missions as I can. I abandoned all of the ones in territories that were low level. Like I went to every town, checked the boards, did as many missions as I could, get them over with. Because I had over 2 levels worth of that bonus XP for like not playing. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to cash as many of these low hanging fruits. Did all that, and then I just went to our little town there and what is it, Restless Shores?
Restless Shores, yeah.
Which is so shitty. That place is laid out so shitty. I hate it.
It's the fucking worst, man.
It really is. But anyway, so I did the thing, and I played until everything. There were no missions left when I was done. So that was cool. I felt like I accomplished something. I bought my house there. Oh no, did I? Did I buy the house? No, I didn't buy the house yet. I have I made it my my inn for now, because I still have 2 other houses that are scattered about. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I'm trying to level up my main weapons to max level. It's slow going right now. I am focusing on mining and skinning. I'm trying to get those to 200. I'm pretty close to that. Just trying to get through those. I'm setting smaller goals for myself.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Kind of trying to just like, I don't know, just take it easy, kind of, if that makes sense. Sure. But I really want to get to max level so that I can start enjoying some of that late level, that end game content. I know I've been saying that since like we started recording, but like
I was gonna say since like episode 1, you're like, I am so close, man. I'm really pushing.
I know, but I actually did. I got 3 levels when I played the other day. So like I am very close, but at the same time, like there's no dead season in video games anymore. There's always something to play and cover, and so I'm trying to dedicate at least one whole night to New World, just a whole night where that's the only game I play. And so far that's been going well. So I do a stream in the afternoon for a couple hours on one day of the weekend, and then that night is New World night. Yeah. So that's basically what I've been up to. I'm trying to really understand how to best level up my skills and stuff like that as I'm going along, because I mean logging, I was doing a lot of logging too.
Oh bro,
I was doing a shit ton of logging. So like the main 3, like I was just focusing on those, because once they get to 200 I'm like, okay, fine, it's done, finally done. Now I could get those whatever they're called,
the
aptitude crates, and get some cool items to like start building things. So yeah. What about you?
I'm glad that you're still enjoying the game, at least, though you don't have a ton of time to play it.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Every time I play, I'm like, I don't want to stop.
Yeah,
but I digress.
Gut check. How close do you think you are to finishing up the main story quest? Have you honestly had to fight the giant earth monster?
I don't think I didn't fight a giant earth monster. The problem was that so when they fixed the waypoint situation, they also added the new main quest markers.
They added in like a bunch of quests and stuff, right?
So like I kind of got sidetracked with doing like the newly revamped fishing quest that now marks like it's a main quest, as opposed to the way it used to, where it was just like one of those just normal yellow quests. Now it's like the big fiery yellow one. So I'm like, am I doing, like, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? Because that quest is awful. Just
at
awful.
One point in that quest line, you'll be doing it or whatever. And if that's the beginning of your fishing, you'll get up to like fishing level 35 or something. Yeah, and it'll be like, all right, for the next step, get to fishing level 100. And then you go, fuck. And then you never play it again.
Yeah, I have to catch 3 boots.
Boots. That's a good one.
Like, okay, all right. Well, I'm not gonna go, and because I've gotten kicked from the game several times working on the stupid fishing. So they're like, hey, you're a bot, you're out. And I'm like, God damn it, stop it. I'm not a bot.
You just gotta wiggle around every once in a while.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, there's a lot more to talk about than my little nonsense that I've been doing.
Well, I'm glad that you've still been enjoying it, at least.
Yeah.
It's very good. On my end, man, let me tell you, I've just been crafting away my little heart. I have just sunk so much money into trying to craft gear. I have become an absolute fucking degenerate when it comes to these random rolls in crafting. The way that the crafting works, once you have like all of your trophies, you have like the crafting gear set, you have everything max level, you then have a 1 in 5 chance of rolling a 600 gear score legendary item.
Right.
It'll drop anywhere from 595 to 600. Which you're like, oh, dope. Yeah, that's really high odds. It painfully is not when you are spending thousands and thousands of gold per roll or days and days worth of resources.
Yeah, that's not cool.
So I have just turned into an absolute gambling addict, and I have realized that what my specialty is rolling 599 gear. I cannot tell you how many 599 rings and amulets I have rolled in the last 2 weeks.
Sure. Well, that is
painful.
A skill. That is a skill.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I enjoy the gambling. In our Discord for our company, a lot of us hang out, and our crafters will actually stream them crafting stuff. They do all kinds of shit. And so we'll all just like gather around. It's like a, getting our fix kind of a thing, watching people roll jewelry and stuff. And we'll all cheer when they hit a 600 or whatever.
You did it. What do you do with all the shit that you're not going to use? Like, because they don't.
Sometimes you can sell it. Sometimes it's just absolute garbage, and you just like have to salvage it. And
that's
cry.
The thing. Like, crafting high level gear is like nobody's going to buy a not 600. Like, there's nobody. Because at that point, just buy the 600.
Value, there's some value for the 595s because like the difference in price between like 600 best in slot and like a 598 that has 2 of the 3 perks is like tens of thousands of gold, right?
Right.
And so there's still a market for like really good perk rolls on like 595 plus stuff. If you can, a ring is a good example. If you can get a ring that has like hardy, which allows you to roll an extra time if you're light or heavy, and like sacred on it, which gives you increased outgoing healing. Like that'll sell for a lot. That'll sell for 30,000-40,000 coin probably, depending on the server that you're on. That would sell better than like shitty perks on a 600. So it's all a gamble, and it's so much fun. This is why I like don't gamble in real life, because I know I have that addictive itch, and I will just burn through my entire life savings.
Yeah, just one more.
Like, it'll just all be gone. Yeah,
just one more. This is the one. This is the one. This is the and like then you'll get a 600 and you're like, what are these shitty perks? What are these shitty perks?
Yeah, exactly. I rolled an amulet the other night that was the best amulet you could have for a tank. And so I sat there for a second and I was like, this could still be good for pretty much anything I do. It has Constitution on it. That's pretty universal. Really good perks. And I was like, I can just put this amulet on and just be happy, like I could just chill with this and just have it forever. And this could be my amulet. And so I was planning on doing that. And then I posted it up in global chat just to flex it on everyone, be like, look what I just rolled. And immediately was flooded with like 20 DMs. Like, how much? I'll pay you 80,000 gold. I'll pay you 90,000 gold for that. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, do I sell this thing right now? I ended up selling it. And then I went to bed that night and couldn't sleep for like 4 hours because I was just thinking about rolling that fucking amulet.
Yeah, and so I got the itch.
Yeah, probably not. I got the itch though. That's what did it for me. Like, it was such a rush, Yeah. I'm talking like an actual like gambling addict.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's
this is a problem.
Well,
I'm realizing right now on this show this is a problem.
I mean, it's a problem if you ever get into like the real thing, but like you're fine. This is the kind of gambling you want to do, where there's no money involved. It's just your fake money, and then the worst that's going to happen is like you're just going to get more out of shape than you already are. Sure. And that's it. You're just gonna be sitting there, and you're gonna get carpal tunnel from clicking your mouse. Like that's the risk. Maybe divorce. Maybe
divorce. I've told the story not on this show, but Destiny 2 almost led to a divorce between my wife and I, for similar reasons, because I'm just a fucking degenerate that will stay up until 4 or 5 in the morning playing video games if no one checks me. So,
babe. Yeah. Are you alive?
Part of the problem was I was doing that right after my son was born, right? So,
that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. It wasn't great, but we've corrected it. I'm not allowed to play Destiny anymore. So
you did though. You did try it.
I did for like a minute, and then I was like, oh yeah, I remembered why I'm not allowed to play this game, and stopped. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. We're good. Me and my wife have a great relationship. We're totally fine, I swear.
Mm-hmm. Everything's fine, you guys.
Everything's totally fine. Well, Steve, let's talk about the patch that just came out. The litany of bugs that
the patch that's made out of more knives. This is like a spike bomb of a patch. This is the opposite of a patch. This was a hole. they uploaded a hole that they are now going to have to patch.
Yeah.
Goodness.
The sad thing is, like, the stuff they added is so good. Let's start with the good stuff, because I know you haven't been able to jump in. Yeah, you haven't been able to jump in with any of that. It'll probably be like an open face sandwich with like a bunch of shit gravy over the top. But
okay, that's fine.
You know, good stuff. We'll get that out of the way first. Mutators are fucking cool. So adding the levels of difficulty, if you ever did like Mythic Plus dungeons and WoW or anything like that, it's the exact same thing. You know, they add different elemental modifiers to the enemies. They add different mechanics that you have to deal with, and you have to beat the lower level of the mutator to advance to the next one. There are a bunch of different factors like time and mobs killed and times died that factor into your overall score. They're tough. They definitely add a degree of difficulty. The first couple aren't terrible because they just add the elemental modifier for the most part. But as you get up there and you start getting into like the curses and stuff like that, like it gets pretty difficult. My team has made it up to 5. And we can get up to 5. Yeah, 5 out of the 10. We can get up to 5 pretty easy. At 5, it gets really hard.
Okay.
So, and I can't even imagine once you get into like the hard or the insane difficulty, when you get to like 7 or 10, those I'm terrified of.
Well,
those.
Let me ask you this: Is it your gear? Is it your loadouts, or is it the coordination? Is it just luck? Like what is it that's driving the difficulty when you're playing with 4 or 5, however many it is? It's 5 others, I believe.
5, yeah. Well, 5 total.
5 total, like level 60, decked out characters. Like what is it that's making it so difficult for you?
Yeah, so there are 2 factors that come into play here. One, the modifiers do force you to have it like a well-balanced and coordinated team. You have to have a team that's efficient, that can kill mobs quickly, that have higher health pools and stuff like that.
Sure.
You have to have a team that has good composition. You know, you've got a strong healer that can stay alive, and a tank that can hold aggro the entire time, and the right weapons for the type of enemy that you're going up against and stuff. Like, there's a lot of team coordination, and that's one layer of the difficulty, is finding a team that you gel with and you can, you know, kind of get that coordination with. Right. The second layer is an area that people are a little upset about, around the gear score and the way that these dungeons scale based off of that.
They base it off of the party's like gear scores, or it's like a static gear score?
Individual. It's individual. It's based on each individual's gear score, and the way that they modify it is they have a recommended gear score for the dungeon. And then depending on how many levels above or below that you are, you either get decreased damage prevention and damage output, or increased damage prevention and damage output. So, for example, the first one is recommended gear score 602. If you go in at gear score 590, you are going to be taking like 120% damage of the normal dungeon.
Okay, yeah.
And you'll be dealing 80% of your normal damage. So, those numbers aren't exact. You know,
I mean, it doesn't matter, but like that is that's the rubber banding that I don't like in this kind of thing. Like, I guess that's not really the right term, but like it's, if you're going to make something difficult in one way, then that taking more damage is one thing, but if you're taking and giving less damage, then it's like it's doubly bad. Like you're like the difference is exponential at that point.
Yep.
So
100%.
It's like you can't, at that point the incentive for you is, hey, don't do this level 5 until your gear score is higher. Like, just don't do it. And I think that that's kind of antithetical to what this game is supposed to be, but at the same time, having those roadblocks there gives you something as a late game, as an end game player, something to achieve, something to plug towards, something to fight for.
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes it that, and this is something that happens with every MMO, and it's one of the reasons why I fall off from MMOs eventually, is you are playing a completely different New World than me. Yeah. We're playing completely different games. Like, there is nothing that I am doing that you would want to do, and there's nothing that you're doing that I can do. So it splits the player base right in half, right? Which is the cool thing about being in a company that, you know, I could contribute in other ways. I could give you all of the motes. I could like do stuff like that, make myself useful, at least that I'm achieving something. But we're still playing two completely different games. And now this is your game. Your game is the get the gear score up.
Score treadmill.
The gear score treadmill, and then once you get to like 8 or whatever, they're gonna add 5 more. Mm-hmm. So now it's gonna be 8 out of 15, and then there'll be that thing to kind of go for.
That's the best part, Steve. This resets every week. So
yeah, right.
You know, we'll be at 5.
And then
like we have
GTFO.
To reset back down at 1. Yeah, exactly.
But that but that
we're on different dungeons with different
you
know, things,
right.
So that it keeps it fresh. But yeah, I get. But
that's a different game. Like that's like a mode. That's like a mode in this game. Like it's great that you guys have that. But wouldn't it be better if you had a level 60 like epic quest to go on with like a story and like cool bad guys that have consequences and like a new area to explore. Like I feel like that 100%. Is what makes MMOs exciting to me. It's like, and that's what Final Fantasy does so well, is like every expansion, every time they add something mega to the game, the game Final Fantasy 14 online gets longer, not segmented, not different. It's not like, okay, these are the things that only these guys can do. Congratulations, you could do it. It's like, no, this is the story. They can now continue the story, and as you're playing, maybe you're leveling up a lot, you know, slower, but you may be progressing as fast in you know, in the main quest, and then so you're doing your quest at your pace or whatever. It's like that's the game. The game is a RPG. It's linear, and New World half-assed so much of the story and the presentation of the story and the reason for the story. The whole reason to play this game is to do the things that you're doing, and to me, that's not fun. Like living in the world and experiencing the lore and the customization and, you know, the I don't know, like that's the part that is exciting to me. And so like knowing that like when I finish the end game, or when I finish the story, which is, you know, really barely a story, but like when you finish it, like I'm going to have to either force myself to do these things, or I'm just going to not do them, and I'm just going to work on crafting stuff until the next story thing comes out, the next big expansion or whatever comes out, and then I'll just dabble with that. Just a quick side tangent. I remember when, I've said this on the show before, but City of Heroes was like my MMO. It was like my favorite MMO ever. And I took a like 3-month or so hiatus from it. I forget why. I just wasn't playing. I think I got PS3. So I was doing like a lot of like Resistance and whatever.
Yeah.
And Killzone, whatever I was doing at that time. And when I went back, it was after they added the lab. It was like a crafting lab. And they changed so much of how your upgrades worked and made it so like intricate that because I wasn't there day one and they built these Legos on top of each other so quickly, I just never did any of it. And my character was always underpowered on you know, raid dungeons and like all that stuff. Always underpowered because I just did not care enough to do these like mutations or whatever they were called. I think they were called mutations. I can't remember 100%, but like you basically did like experiments with crafting parts and then created augmented power-ups for your abilities or whatever. Yeah. I know it's a big tangent, but like I hate when they do that.
I feel like it's so easy for games to do that too, and like make it so that systems are unrecognizable for players. I know, like with Destiny,
Right.
when I tried to get back to it, that was actually one of the main reasons that I bounced off, is like that game was so different.
Yeah.
Even though the core gameplay loop and like all of that was the same, it was unrecognizable when I returned over a year later with the things that they added. And so like it's not hard at all to do that and end up isolating a player base that may come back.
Right.
But at the same time, I feel like you still have to implement and add some of these systems to keep your core like audience engaged, right?
But it should be like, supplementary. It shouldn't be the core thing that you focus on. Like, okay, we have an MMO that has a beginning, middle, and end, but instead of like expanding on the end and like actually having the story continue, we're just going to add like, you know, another mechanic to the game for the people to obsess over. Why are we obsessing over it? Because it's new. And
that's
whatever.
One of the things that kind of drives me crazy too is literally the last monthly update, the December monthly update. They added a new currency to the game in the gypsum shards, right?
Right.
Like brand new currency, brand new system that allows you to upgrade your gear score. With literally the next monthly update they put out, they add another currency in the umbral shards, which like does essentially the same thing. It's for upgrading your gear score. Like it's so weird that they feel like they have to layer these different currencies to keep people like engaging and progressing.
Yeah, I just want like cool dungeons and like a new locale, cool enemies, couple of new weapons, you know, whatever, and just
I will say the experience of running just the base level dungeons, end game dungeons for the first time is really cool. Even the first 10 times that you do it.
Yeah.
Like they're very cool, like fun set piece designs. The first time you see the final boss of Lazarus Instrumentality, like it's jaw dropping. You've never seen an enemy like this in the game before. And so like it's so cool, and they very quickly like lose that sheen, you know?
Yeah.
A couple of things I will say as someone who is a primary healer, that the best life staff that you can get in the game that comes out of Lazarus Instrumentality. I have been grinding that dungeon for a long time, for a couple of months now, probably 80 runs. With this patch, I never got it to drop, by the way. The staff is called the Will of the Ancients. It's very, very good. Perfect perks, like it's incredible. After this patch, I ran it 3 times and got a 599 Will of the Ancients, and then literally the next run I got a 600 Legendary Will of the Ancients. So that was really cool. They drastically increased the drop rates on these legendary named items. So that has been super exciting. I'm just getting named stuff, legendary stuff, left, right, center, you know, just all over the place. So that's been super cool.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it definitely makes those dungeons feel more rewarding, which is nice. On top of that, they also made it so that you could buy dungeon keys or tuning orbs from the faction vendor.
Yes, that's huge.
It's awesome. You don't have to grind up to 200 stone cutting or pay an exorbitant fee to some rando to be able to run these. Like, that is very nice. You can still craft keys, which is great. So for those of you that have, you know, really pushed yourselves, got up to 200 stone cutting, you're crafting your keys every week on cooldown. They made those easier to craft too, which is awesome. But being able to buy the 60 plus dungeon keys from the faction vendor is amazing. And then on top of that, you can buy the lower level dungeon keys once a day. So it doesn't even have a weekly turnaround. So if you just want to grind, like there's a craft mod for a healer ring that drops out of Starstone. It's super, super rare. They sell, if there are any on the market, sell for like 15K instantly. Like they're super valuable. So now you can actually go and grind that and actually get those craft mods, and it's not prohibitive to you using materials that you would use for your normal dungeon keys, which is super nice.
Yeah, that's good. That's important.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into the bugs.
Oh man.
Stephen.
What happened?
Every single patch. So the first thing right off the bat that you notice, they mention in the patch notes, hey, we have made it so that new players have to own the game for 72 hours and have to have played for at least 2 hours before they can type in global chat to prevent them from gold selling, basically. So these bot accounts don't come in and spam chat at level 1, right?
Right.
Patch comes out, everyone jumps in, no one can type in global chat. It's a ghost town. Area chat's still fine. So you're in one of the main hub towns, and you see area chat popping off of everyone saying like, can't type in global, can't type in global. This sucks. This is stupid, until 2 hours after the servers come back up.
How did they not know that was gonna happen?
Right?
Like that's like okay. I don't know. Like I know that you've witnessed the devs playing the game. You've seen it, but sometimes I wonder.
Yeah. Well, I saw a Reddit forum or a Reddit thread the other day. Reddit forum. Am I 80? What in the world? A Reddit thread the other day from someone who very obviously works in game dev. That's like, hey, I really hope the New World devs see this. And just goes into this like super technical explanation about how they can have their internal test build of the game, and then have like the stuff that they fix through that push through to like a sub version of the game, so that they don't have to worry about having multiple builds and stuff, and like basically just explaining like, hey, this is how you don't fuck up your game every time you release an update. This is some random dude on Reddit explaining this to Amazon. Like, I understand they're relatively new in the world of game development.
Yeah, but it's fucking Amazon. They're not all like they're developers from other experiences.
When I say they, I mean Amazon Game Studios, right?
Yeah, I mean it's comprised of industry veterans for the last like 30 plus years.
100%. So like seeing that, I'm just like, holy shit. Like this random dude on Reddit is giving free advice to this $1 trillion company so they don't fuck up their game more. Like it it's so funny to me,
special. And listen, we're not talking shit here. We know
I understand
game dev is hard. We're not saying that. We're just saying something's happening here. Something weird is going on.
Yeah.
And it needs to be addressed.
Every single update, like it's something new. Someone in our company actually, as the servers were coming back online that was at work, just messaged into our group chat. It was like, hey, what did they break this time? And we all knew like, oh, list it all out or whatever. So that bug, haha, people can't type in global for 2 hours. Like that's one you can kind of like laugh off. It doesn't super affect your gameplay in the grand scheme of things.
Right.
Bug number 2 kind of did. Uh-oh. This is, I would say, was the next biggest bug. The way that they coded the items that were in your storage was different pre-patch to post-patch. Some number in the back end was changed from a 0 to a 1 or whatever. So every time you put items into your inventory that you had existing inventory of, for example, you have some rawhide on your person and in your town storage. Take the rawhide out, put it in, doesn't stack anymore. Game's recognizing it as 2 different items. Which is like annoying, but that bug also led to a bug where you couldn't craft anything that was in your town, use any items to craft that were in your town storage. They had to be on your person.
Nope. I would never play the game again. I will never play the game again.
Infuriating. I just had to like make a couple of meals, right? Because I was just running low on my hearty meals or whatever. And so I go over to the kitchen and it's like no ingredients. I'm like, fuck you. This town literally only has my cooking ingredients in it. What are you talking about? So I go over to my storage. I'm like, okay, I think I need this, 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 and this. And you know, I need to craft some con food too, because we've got a war later. So I'm gonna craft some con food to give out. Go back over, forget like 2 fucking things from the con crafting list.
That's just awful. It's just awful.
It was so infuriating.
That I would never, ever play the game again if that's not fixed. Like that would be atrocious. Like I want that to go into Animal Crossing so bad, where I could just, if I'm in my home and I have stuff in storage, just let me craft in my home. Like oh my god, that is asinine.
Yeah. So they had to have downtime day after the patch came out to address that, which is fine. Whatever. Cool. Like, fix your shit, obviously.
Right.
But that's whatever. The biggest bug, though, and the most frustrating, is this bug with invasion and war rosters. We ran into this right away because Restless Shore had the first invasion after the update. So we were the guinea pigs. We got to experience this firsthand.
Oh boy.
This bug, one, if someone signs up for your invasion or war and then logs out of the game and then logs back in, shows that they did not sign up. So they go, what the fuck? I totally signed up for this. Let me go sign up again. They go sign up again. They are now on the sign up roster twice. This causes a litany of issues because then the game is trying to autofill people, especially for invasions, because of invasions primarily just autofill. They're then trying to autofill the same person in 2 slots. It's getting an error, making it so that they can't accept either invitation because it says they have a pending invitation or the group is full. And so now that person just can't get in.
Yep.
On top of that, if you try to manually pull them in, just one of their names, because both are showing up on the roster, they will come in just fine, be totally fine, and then disappear and get kicked. For invasions, this is frustrating, but like we can manage, right? Just tell everyone, hey, just sign up once, like whatever. We'll figure out the teams when we get in there.
Right.
For wars,
yeah, you guys had like, quite an experience with the war recently.
It's like borderline game breaking because especially on highly competitive PvP servers, having good roster composition is the difference between sweeping a team away in 10 minutes or getting camped in your fort, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, good team comp is so important. You can't just randomly throw the first 50 people that sign up for a war into randomly assigned teams. It will fuck everything.
Right.
So this is in the game. We had a war today for Windsward. And unfortunately, the team we were fighting against had significant issues because of this. And so because of that, all of our wars have been very competitive, right? It's always super close, comes down to the last minute. Like, we're 2 very good, like, PvP factions, and we've got a lot of people with a lot of PvP experience. They got beat in 10 minutes.
Yeah, like, that sucks.
For the territory that generates the most revenue in the entire game.
You can't even enjoy winning that way.
It just sucks, man. Like, the territory's ours now, and I feel like shit because, like, the game was so fucked up that they couldn't even put their best people out there.
Yeah.
Like, it's so frustrating.
Now, do you think that's what happened to you guys on that war the other day? Was that pre?
No, that was pre-patch. Okay. Pre-patch, but
because that, I mean, I heard stories about people getting stuck in camp, not being able to leave.
Yeah, there are a bunch of bugs with war in general, but this is a new one.
Honestly, the only reason why I would, I mean, aside from just, being a team player, the only reason why I would even like root for you guys is because like I just want to be able to move my storage all over the place.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I just it just makes it easier.
Yeah.
Like, please just keep winning.
Yeah.
Especially like as I'm progressing and getting into higher level areas, like places I haven't been yet. Like, I don't want to have to drag all my shit all over the place.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, that's boss. That sucks. They got to fix that. Those are very technical issues. I just really hope it doesn't. Remember when Apex had really bad? Oh, not Apex. It was the first one to do it was Oh, what game was it? It was right before
Apex had that like entire season basically where they were like, "Hey, we're just gonna like work on desync and fixing."
Yeah.
You know, like all the.
There was somebody that did it right before them, and then because I remember our friend Peoples, he was saying they need to do this. They need a quality of life, like take a season off, do a quality of life update only, like, and then they eventually did it. But there was a game that did it before them. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it might have been Fortnite or whatever. But that's what they need at this point. They need to stop. No new systems, no new weapons, no expansions. We're taking 3 straight months of just bug fixing. Bug fixing. Well, 3 months.
They did mention in the last dev update that February is the month for addressing bugs and like fixing shit.
It's the shortest month. They might want to wait for a longer month.
Yeah. Said, hey, no new content at all this month. Like, we're just going to focus on fixing shit. Especially around PvP. And you could tell in that last dev update, listening to them, like, they're kind of embarrassed that they're putting out new content right now instead of focusing on that stuff.
Right. And that's probably a directive, like, you know.
Well, and at least what they were saying was like the content was so far down the pipeline that they like had to get it out basically.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that they had been working on since launch or whatever. Right. But yeah, they had basically addressed that in this last dev update. Like, hey, we're just going to spend this entire month fixing shit. We'll do whatever we need to fix the shit. And I just hope that is actually the case. Because the game... The frustrating part about all of this, and the reason that everyone is like so angry, is because people can see like how good the core system of this game is. Like, it's so fun to play.
Right.
I genuinely enjoy it, and I think most people feel the same way.
I mean, that's why I play
this game.
That's why I play. I don't play for any of this rigmarole that you've been talking about, and no OPR, nothing. I don't do any of it. All I do is just play the game. I kill the bad guys. I collect the stuff. I do the crafting. Like, I almost kind of wish this wasn't an MMO. Like, I kind of wish that they actually stayed with the whole survival thing. Like, just kind of mess around in this world with this cool combat and cool weapons and stuff. I don't know. I digress. Continue.
So fingers crossed at this point that we can actually address and correct some of this stuff. But it just, with every single update, I can feel from people in the company, from people in global chat, people on Reddit, people on the forums, like, it just weighs on people, and you can only keep defending it so much, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really tough to keep time after time after time being like, oh, they're gonna fix it. They mentioned they were gonna address it. Fuck, a new thing just came up, you know? Or fucking
it's the Fallout 76 issue.
Yeah.
Like, Fallout 76 had this really, really badly. Like, it was like, oh no. Well, actually, maybe not, because Fallout 76, like, the philosophy of the game was broken. Like,
sure,
what they wanted to do, nobody wanted. Like, no, please don't do that. Oh, shit, they did it. Damn it. And then they're like, oh, wait, you guys don't want that? Oh, okay. Our bad. We'll make it more like actual Fallout then. Just with your friends, you know. This is like, oh, this game's fun. This is really cool. I can't wait to see what you add to it. Oh, no, you've broken it. Like, oh, no. When I used to heal really, really good, like, now I don't heal so good. Why you did this? Balancing. But it was balanced fine. I was healing everybody. It was fun. We were winning. Like it's the PvP that really ruins it, honestly. Like, and I know that PvP is a huge part of the game, and I know that you love it and yada yada, but like I feel like it should almost be in a vacuum. Like, keep the core game for PvE, keep all the balancing the way it was. Let us have fun with it. Let us do our freaking raids and whatever. Who gives a crap? PvP, everybody gets just like, you know, it's special balanced weapons and blah blah blah. Like, there's no way to like everybody. Like, honestly, the life staff, it got such a shitty nerf. Like, I don't know, maybe 3 months ago, I think it was. That it made it so that like I was basically useless. Like, you were much higher level. You had, you know, the right whatever perks and stuff. Like, but I was doing fine until they nerfed it, and I'm like, I was doing on average maybe 30% less healing. Like, that's a big dip.
Yeah, it's significant.
But yeah, it sucked. But yeah, but what else we got here? What else did we talk about?
That's about it so far. And I don't know, maybe I'm just being gaslit by the Amazon Game Studios team, but at the end of the day, like, I'm still just logging in every fucking day and really enjoying it. Like,
yeah, no, listen, it's a fun game. But you know what would make it more fun?
Tell me.
A new weapon of the week.
Stephen, do you have a good one for me?
I have an interesting one.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
We have Sword and Shield. It's all about, you know, you gotta roll and, you know, block and stuff. But what if you were a true tank? What if you were the front lines?
Double shield.
No, close.
Close? Oh boy.
Tower shield. Massive tower shield the size of your body.
Yeah.
And Morning Star.
Oh.
Just a
so big, like bigger tower shield than what we currently have.
I'm talking like it is bigger than you.
Like toes to top of your head kind of a thing.
Correct.
Okay.
And you you put it on the ground, and it's actually
and you just drag it, and you're like you slow as fuck.
Exactly. Okay. And you're all about just deflecting, like ranged attacks just bounce off of you, kind of thing. And then you have little to no range, but when they get close to you, you do a ton of damage.
You just like fuck them up.
You're just
That sounds really broken. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
that sounds really broken.
It's just all about. I mean, tanks are cool, but what if they were cooler? You know.
But what if they were more tanker?
Yeah. What if you took away their maneuverability? And
what if tank, but also what if more tank?
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, just like a big, massive shield that, like, one of the abilities would be like stand your ground. So you would just slam the shield into the ground, hide behind it basically, and you would get like a 200% defensive ball. You can't attack, you can't cancel out of it. You wait the duration. So like maybe it's like when you would use it when one of the enemies is doing that, like they're like, you know, whatever the hell it is, their berserker attack, and you're just like, boom, stand my ground. And then maybe you could have a perk in there that's like,
have it be like a big taunt too, so you like slam the shield on the ground and everyone aggro's on you.
And then you could do like a perk where your first attack after that deals, you know, an additional 50% of the damage you took back at the enemy.
Whoa.
You know,
that'd
like just
be a
like
boss smasher,
it's just like boom, 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 boom. He's just like holding it in. It's just like, you motherfucker, boom, and then he just like, I don't know, just comes out of it like lifting the shield up off the ground and just hitting it whatever's in front of him, dealing weapon damage plus 50% of absorbed, you know, attacks. And then you could have like simple stuff with that Morning Star of like you could have it just be like a simple melee weapon, like crushing, you know, it's on the it's like the little spiky ball on the chain kind of thing. Just cool stuff like that. I think we need more more two-handed stuff, like variety. We need a little bit of variety but a play on what's happening. A play on
and
what's
more ways to make shield valuable too.
Yeah.
Right now, you only use a shield if you're doing sword and shield. Like,
right.
It's kind of weird. And also, like, kite shields and round shields are kind of useless. I would love, separate from your idea, I would love for there to be more utility for the smaller shields. Like, if they gave you additional mobility or something like that, because they do have lower damage absorption. So, or maybe they just give you better damage output or something. They give you like a damage multiplier for doing a smaller shield, just like lighter armor gives you a damage multiplier or whatever. I don't know. I think that'd be cool, but
see, that's the kind of balancing that like I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Like make things better, not worse because they're too good. I don't like that. Make the other things better then. Like I hate nerfing. Just buff everything until everything's just really cool and powerful. It's a fucking video game. Like, powerful is fun.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Like, what if you were playing Spider-Man and, you know, they're like, oh, your spider sense is way too powerful. It's now just a hunch. Because...
Spider hunch.
You know, it's like, what? No, it's his spider senses. It's his power. It's like one of the things you like. That's why I'm playing Spider-Man for like, oh, his webs they shoot too far. We're nerfing it. It's now a sword. Like, no, that doesn't. It's a web sword. What? No, we can't do that. That's not how Spider-Man works. It's like, yeah, I have a healing staff. It heals. No, not anymore. No, it does less. Why?
Heal, but not good heal.
Yeah, heal less effectively, because that's what any healer wants to do. All healers whose life is hard enough already, all we want to do is have it just be more difficult for us to do what we want to do.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. All right, get us out of here.
Well,
I digress. A lot of digression.
Stephen, thank you so much for joining me this week.
This was fun. High energy. Good show.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? Pat yourself on the back. Let's
do
everyone at home. If you feel like this show was good, you pat yourself on the back too. But also, if you're listening on a podcast service that allows for reviews like Apple Podcast, we would love it very much if you would also go leave us a review there as a little pat on the back, because it helps us out a ton. Also, subscribe to the YouTube. Full episodes go up the day after we record them on YouTube, as well as all podcast services. So if you'd rather listen there, please do it. We are very close to 800 subs over on our YouTube, Steve. I think we're 4 subs away from 800.
We're getting there
on the YouTube. So
we get like a sub a day. It's like you know, people are like, oh yeah, this channel exists.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
So hit that bell, you know.
Yeah, for those of you who aren't subbed, that's listened to all 12 episodes, but been like, these guys aren't worth it yet. Consider it.
You're right.
Consider it.
You're
if
right.
We're worth it.
But you know.
But like the number go up, make us feel good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Go do the thing. And then if you want to support us even more, you can head over to patreon.com/NDS podcasts. That's where you can not only see this show, but you can also see our show where we talk about video games, the Crossplay podcast, as well as the show where we talk to people who make video games, like indie developers, voice actors, and things like that, which is the Dual Screens podcast. This show, Faction Wars, actually would not exist without the generous support of our people over on Patreon, including our Patreon producers, F&H Paul, Colton, the Apprentice Nestler, and Vegas Girl on Fire. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to nerd out on this fucking video game.
Yeah.
All right, Steven. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Until next time, keep doing them heals.